Hi, welcome to Buchan Stationery. I'm Michael.
I'm Grace.
And today we'll be talking about our 6 favorite beginner fountain pens.
Yeah, I guess we'll start off by why we got into fountain pens in the first place. And for me, I think it was just because of like the aesthetic almost. Like I thought like, oh, they're so fancy, they're so cool, like what even is this? And then like as I started researching it more, I realized like they're environmentally friendly because there's no like plastic waste every time you like get rid of a pen, and like they last for a long time. So even though like $30 seems like a big investment for like one pen, actually like it's lasted for like how many years now? So I really liked that.
Yeah, for sure. Like they do last a very long time, and they do kind of in a way save their waste. And I think what's really awesome about fountain pens is the type of colors you can work around with. And at first you see so many different colors and all those blues look exactly the same as blue.
Yes.
But over time you kind of become learn this appreciation for the pigments and everything.
Yeah.
And it just opens up so many different doors for you in the world of writing.
Yeah, and I find like as an artist, I really like to use like a lot of colors in my work, and so I don't need to have like 100 pens in my pencil case. I just need like a couple and like some like little samples of ink and we're good to go.
Exactly, yeah. Like I'm a student in university and I do a lot of note taking, a lot of writing.
Same.
And it's just a lot easier just to have that one pen to go, you know?
Yeah.
It's easy, it's lightweight to bring with you.
Yeah.
And that kind of also brings us into the next point of like why we like everyday fountain pens. It's you just take that one, and especially with beginner fountain pens, they're very cost effective, exactly. And like that is you can just take that one pen with you and you can use it for as long as you want basically. And like the thing about fountain pens and finally, and from a more consumer like profile, it's their lifetime value is so high.
Yeah.
Like if you look at back in the 1980s when the first Lamy Safaris were created, those pens are still around today, albeit much harder to find, but they last.
Yeah.
And they can last you for so long, and the value that they give, unmatched.
Definitely. And I feel like also just like it's a beginner fountain pen, like the Varsity or the like Preppy, like sure they're cheaper than some of the pens that we're recommending in this video, but they don't have like that same lasting quality, which is why we like have chosen to not include them in this video. So we are trying to get the ones that will like last you for the long run and not break the bank.
Exactly. So let's get into the video. So let's start with the cheapest pen on the list. For retailing for around $25, we have the Platinum Placer. Now Grace, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I think it's a great introductory pen. For me, the look is a bit too extra with like the silver and the bright colors, but I can see how it's a great pen for beginners.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it's for the price range and especially the Japanese stationery, the Japanese technology, I think that's really awesome and it's a good introductory for that for sure.
Definitely.
And one of my favorite things about the pen is the slip and seal technology. So this is a really good way that Platinum has implemented to ensure the ink stays wet and prevents it from drying from a really long time.
Yeah, I can see how that would be really helpful, like if you don't use like the same pen all the time and you don't want to like clean it out as soon as you're like, oh, I'm not going to use it anymore.
Exactly. So that's the Platinum Placer, retailing for around $25. Next up we have the Pilot Metropolitan, which again is another Japanese stationery pen, retailing for around $30, another great introductory to Japanese stationery. So what are your thoughts on that?
This one I vibe a little bit more with. I really like how like in the center of each of these pens right behind the cap there's like a different design, and so it feels more like personalized, or like you can show your personality through like the pen that you pick. And the color is a bit more muted, so it just...
For sure. I also love how it also comes in with a converter and a cartridge.
Yeah.
Now, my one thing is with the Pilot is the converter is a little bit difficult to use, and especially for people who are really used to the Lamy converters and the international standard converters, you kind of don't expect their squeeze converter, so that's a little bit difficult to work with, especially if you're a beginner. But if that doesn't faze you, I think this is a fantastic pen.
Yeah, for sure. I like that you don't need to buy something in addition. You can just like get going right from the start.
Exactly. So next up we have the Koiko Sport. Now Koiko is really known for their kind of portable fountain pens that you can really carry in your pockets. And yeah, Grace, what are your thoughts about this one?
I like these a lot just because of like the portable nature of them. They fit even in women's pockets, so that's a real bonus for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, there's not much to say. It's quite of a very simple pen. It's portable, it's nice. The colors are really great. I love their frosted series for sure.
Definitely.
And for $30, I think it's definitely an everyday pen. It's great to travel with, you know. So it's not that expensive, so you kind of get scared to bring it with you.
Right.
And at the same time, you just put it in your pocket and you're good to go.
Yeah, the one thing that I would say about these though is like because it's so small, which is a bonus, but also like the converter doesn't hold that much ink. And so it's great if you like to like switch out your inks and try new colors every time, but if you want to use something consistently for like a week for taking notes at school, not the one for you.
Yeah, it could be a little bit tedious for sure. And next up we have the TWSBI Eco. So another thing I just really want to point out is that we do not have this in store, but we do occasionally carry this. It's the TWSBI Eco T as well. So just a little bit of clarification, because many people always ask us, what's the difference between the TWSBI Eco and the TWSBI Eco T? So as you guys know with the Lamy Safaris, they have their triangular grips. And the Eco is rounded, but the Eco T has that triangular grip. So if you're kind of looking and debating between the Eco and the Eco T, you can literally try out the Eco T for their triangle grip. But that's just a quick thing I wanted to go with before. What are your thoughts on the Eco?
Yeah, I think like that one, the Eco has like almost like the opposite thing of the Sport because it has like a very large like reservoir for the inks. It has like a great like demonstrator kind of quality where you can see the color of the inks. You know, like, oh right, this one has like red ink, not blue, which I find very helpful when like taking color coordinated notes and stuff. For sure, for sure.
Another thing I love about the Eco, especially for somebody who's new, and especially us younger people, trying to be able to see how the fountain pen works and the mechanism is really cool. And especially for beginners, just to see how the fountain pen works, I think that's a huge plus. Although the TWSBI Eco does retail for around $45, and it really comes with everything in there. But
there's no parts to lose.
There's no parts to lose, but I also think that's somewhat of a drawback sometimes because when you're coming in and they give you a wrench, bearing grease, and you're a first-time fountain pen beginner.
I was confused.
It's confusing and it can really be overbearing sometimes. But once you kind of just get an understanding of the pen and all of that, I think it does become a really fun beginner pen. And we only have clear, but these also do come in a lot of different colors.
They do,
As we have with every possible list of beginner fountain pens, we have to include the Lamy Safari. We've talked plenty about this before. Not much needed to be said. We got the triangle grip, fun colors, and smooth nib is Lamy basically.
It was my first fountain pen and
same here.
No problems to report so far.
Exactly. These things last, these things are great. There's not much more to be said about them. So lastly, we got the Sailor Compass, which I think is pretty awesome. You know, Sailor coming out with a $50 fountain pen, which...
It sounds expensive for sure for a beginner fountain pen, but knowing like the other Sailor pens are like $400, this is like a for sure steal.
Yeah, you kind of get to experience that Sailor technology, what makes Sailor so fantastic with their nibs, their writing, their smoothness, and all of that for $50. And if you look at all the other Sailor pens, they also do have their plastic bodies. They're very similar. It's just the nib isn't, of course, 24 karat gold, but
I mean,
as expected for a $50 pen, but it's still really well done, and it really is a joy to write with, and it's precise. It's just a really good fountain pen, and it is the most expensive pen on this list, but we still would highly recommend it.
Yeah, and it comes with everything that you need to in the box.
Exactly. We actually have the box right here. You got your converter over here.
There's cartridges as well.
And you got the cartridges in there as well. So let's kind of talk about how to fill up the pens with ink. So today we'll be using the Lamy Safari, the Pilot Metropolitan, and the TWSBI Eco. And we're kind of just going to be talking about how to fill up these pens with ink because they're all a little bit different. We've got the piston filler in the Eco, the squeeze filler with the Pilot Metropolitan, and in the Lamy Safari we have the usual twist and turn piston filler there. So we kind of open up the ink right there. Already have the converter in. Let's make sure the screw is fully at the very bottom, and then once it is, you just put it in, and then you just twist. Keep twisting, keep twisting, keep twisting. There you go. Close it up like that, and you're good to write. So now let's do the Pilot Metropolitan. So you take that off, leave it, open this up here too. Now you just take that, and then once you just dip it in, you just squeeze and you're good to go. So you take it in, squeeze, and there you are. Then you close it up here. There we go. And you're good to write. And finally we have the piston filler with the Eco. So all what you gotta do is just open it up here, make sure the screw is at the very bottom. And now with this one, you really have to dip the pen pretty deep in for it to fully get to get all the ink through. So you just put it in deep, and then you just twist. You just keep going, and there you go. And you have a lot of ink in there. So yeah, that's how you fill up these different pens with the different types of converters. Anyways, those were our 6 favorite beginner fountain pens. So let us know what your favorite everyday pen is.
Or what your first fountain pen was.
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. We actually, throughout this whole video, we've kind of had this mini Easter egg for our next video. So kind of just take a little glance. Maybe you might see what it's going to be about. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This is Michael.
This is Grace.
And until next time, thank you for watching. This is Buchan Stationery.